What's up with you beautiful people, man? Welcome back to another video. So today's video, I'm just gonna do like a random, I'm gonna use you guys as my therapist for this video. And I'm assuming that, that we all are dealing with life, we're all going through life. So I feel like some of the stuff that I touch on or even the feelings that I'm having, it could be relatable for whoever clicks on this video, whoever watched this video. But so I was watching a video earlier, I was watching a movie earlier today on Netflix. I forgot the name of the movie. It's a real good movie, man. Matter of fact, no, I gotta pull this up. I'm right here in front of my TV. So it was a movie about, it was a young lady who she set out to sell the world. She wanted to be the youngest person to ever sell the world. I think the guy who done it before her might have been like 17, I think. Or about 17 to 18. And I think she was like 15 years old. And she set out to go sell the world on her own. And it was like, she seen that as a child. I guess she read somewhere because she was fascinated with with water and stuff. So I think she seen that it was a kid that was, a young kid that set out to accomplish something that was so great. And she was motivated from it. So she set out to be the youngest person after him to do it. And she went on and did it. But in the process of doing it, she was doing like basically like a vlog, a day-to-day vlog on, what's her life on the boat, her cooking, her feelings of what she's going through in terms of the mental battle that you have to go through selling the world, within under, 365 days. I think it was 200 some days like that. But she's 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, and she's isolated from her parents. All she has to connect to them is what's the little walkie-talkie phone or whatever the case may be. So it's like, but she doesn't have the physical, you know what I mean? She doesn't have, like, her parents can't go hold her and say, come here, baby, let me give you a hug. Let me give you a kiss. Let me give you a pat on the back, tell you to keep going. Let me tell you how proud I am of you. She only can hear it through the phone. And you got to be selective with that because I think it was battery operated because she couldn't charge it. So it's like, you can't talk because eventually you'll run out of batteries. And the thing was, you can't stop. So you can't stop for repair. You can't stop for like refill, in terms of like, going to go get supplies and stuff. Like, it was a non-stop trip, so you couldn't stop. So that's like, even the storm, she ran into storms as she was doing it. I can't think of my Netflix want to move slow, but she was just showing, she showed vulnerability, because it was times where she questioned, should she be doing this? Because it was so uncomfortable. It was so difficult. It was so isolated that, she made a video and she was just saying like, she wants to quit because it's hard. And I correlated that to me with my life, man. A lot has happened in my life within the last, I would say 3 or 4 months, maybe probably 5 months. I was in a relationship with a person that I thought it was going to be the end with. I thought it was end game with this particular person, and I thought I was going to have a family because that's what I ultimately want out of life. I want to, but outside of the monetary value, like the money, the cars and stuff like that, I'm not really too into that type of stuff. But one thing that I always say that I do want is kids, and I want a family. I want to be able to give a kid something that I didn't fully have, and that's an active dad in your life. So, my dad wasn't always involved in a lot of aspects of my life. So it's a lot of lessons that I learned now. I'm 27 years old, going to be 28 next month. But a lot of those lessons I learned kind of having to, maneuver through my, on my own. Like I say, I taught myself how to swim. I taught myself how to fight. I taught myself how to talk to women. I taught myself how to play football. I taught myself, pretty much everything I know, YouTube, everything that I know, I taught myself, or I was taught by somebody else other than my father. You know what I mean? So even my value systems, like that was something I had to develop on my own. I never had a value system. I can look at this man right here and say, okay, yeah, I want to be just like that guy, that man right there, based off his value system. I never had that, so we kind of had to, when I say we, I'm speaking in terms of me and another one of my buddies is John. We kind of had to, gather that we had to be alert enough to have fun and enjoy life, but also gather information as we go, because it's no blueprint for us. It's no book on life on you're going to run into this, you're going to run into that, where other kids do have that. And when we do run into it, it's never a source of, okay, I'm going to go home to dad, or I'm going to go home to, to comfort, or to a person that has the answer. You know what I mean? It was something that we kind of had to figure out on our own. So, I went through that, battling, having old feelings of that, just being frustrated, Just because I felt that me and my sister both was robbed out of something in terms of, what we missed what we lacked as from a father. Even just going through my relationship with my girl, being in a relationship with a person where you thought that this was the end for that with you and that particular person. You thought that it was God brought that person into your life. I held out for so long. I had plenty of opportunities to, indulge in relationships with women. I wasn't interested in any of them. So I was like, man, but I'm not gonna lower my standards. I'm gonna be patient. And if it come, it come. And it came. And I thought that was it. And for it to be ripped from me abruptly, it hurt. But then I realized something too, man. So it was a lot that came from this movie, man. I promise you, it's a lot that came from this movie. It was a clip where the girl was talking to her mom. It was a scene. I ain't gonna say a clip, but it's a scene when the girl was talking to her mom, and she was just asking her mom, "Do you think I'm foolish in a sense for believing that I can achieve this?" And her mom was like, "No." She's like, "I've seen you, overcome stuff before." She was like, "It's in times of hardships that you find out a person's true character." You see what I'm saying? So I correlate that, and anybody in a relationship probably can relate to this, right? So, like I said, this video right here just gonna be a video of me, just like I say, just venting to you guys and opening up to you guys, because I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate to something that's going on in your lives in this video, or even something that you may go through in the future that you could be like, man, this dude talked about this. So I was in a relationship with a woman who was not from where I'm from, right? So we never had an official conversation in terms of, okay, where do you see yourself in the next year and a half? That way I can know how much to invest into this, because financially I don't have the money to be able to just up and move. But then you can't expect me to just up and move miles away with you, and we haven't even been talking for nothing but 5 or 6 months. You see what I'm saying? So it's just not realistic. So when the whole point of life and relationships is to figure things out. Things are going to get hard. Things are going to get uncomfortable. Like the woman said, in times of chaos and in times of hardships, you figure out a person's true characters. Hard times either break weak people, or it makes strong people, or it builds you up even stronger than what you were. So long story short, she was one of those people that her true character was shown in times of adversity. You know what I mean? Things happen, and she could have stayed, and it would have been uncomfortable, but she could have stayed. And like I say, if you're in a relationship and if you feel that this person is worth it, why wouldn't you sacrifice? Why would you tell your partner that I'm not willing to sacrifice or compromise nothing? Why would you have been in a relationship if that was the mentality that you had? Because you don't know how much that this guy is pouring into this relationship. In your mind, you might be like, man, I'm just kind of going through the motions with it type shit. But you don't know how much that this person is investing into that, and you're not all the way in. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, it messes with you mentally, because now you start to think, like for me, when the breakup was over with, I started questioning myself, like, man, am I a good looking guy? Was it this I could have done better? But at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta understand, like, nah, it ain't fucking me. I'm me. I'm him. I'm really that dude. So you gotta take, or if it's a female, I'm really that woman. So you gotta take that self-doubt out and say, man, you know what? It ain't nothing wrong with me. I got things that I can work on, but I know for the most part, in terms of me being a man, I was there for you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, every situation, even the way that we approached our relationship. Like I made sure that our relationship was built up on interacting outside the physical. We didn't have sex for maybe a month, 2 months into us talking. But when we had sex, we was actually a couple, boyfriend and girlfriend. But I did that purposely because I didn't want to mix lust with love, because it's a completely different thing. So I wanted to be able to bond with you. Let's talk. Let's have a conversations. It was a lot of conversations that should have been had that didn't get had. And I blame some of that on me at the end of the day, because a person can only do what you allow them to do to you. That's it. It ain't nothing more. They can only do what you allow them to do to you. So sometimes you got to understand that if this is a circus, it's my fault too, because I chose to be a part of it. Because you can choose to associate with it, or you can choose to remove yourself from it. So if you're having any doubts in terms of that, so I went to a dark place mentally. Like I made like a couple videos just going in on women, shitting on women. I made 2 videos and I ended up taking them down just because, I was talking reckless, but I was talking from emotion. I was talking from hurt because I felt that I was manipulated, toyed, and played with. So I made those 2 videos out of frustration from that. But then when I made them, I was like, man, you know what? I don't want to put this out. You know, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put this out on my bullshit channel. But with this channel, I'm gonna give y'all the real and the genuine. You know what I mean? Because I want y'all to come to this channel for actual good conversation. And, you know, and just spitting little gems out in life to help you be able to get through what you're going through or gonna go through, or to help you take yourself to the next level, whether it's, you know, moving past childhood trauma, relationship trauma, you know, or just trauma in all aspects from life, man, because life hits us all. But I was like, man, you know what? I can't generalize women as a whole and say that all women are bad, or all women don't know what they want, or all women are mentally weak based off the ones that I was with. The woman I was with was very weak mentally. She even admitted to me that she was weak mentally. So it's just like, you can't run from problems your whole life. Like I said, you take this 15-year-old girl who set out. You're crying about, oh, I'm too far away from family, but you're working towards something. Sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to have. But most people aren't willing to stay on the side of uncomfortable. They want to get back to comfortable as quick as can be. You think that this girl wasn't uncomfortable being miles, thousands of miles away from her family, going through storms, going through actual trial and tribulation, and you can't get through simple financial woes? Like, come on, man. Like, how weak are we mentally? And I'm going to include myself in that too. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking with you guys, because I do the same thing. I whine and complain. I say, oh man, I'm not getting no views on my YouTube videos. But how long have I been uploading on YouTube? I might have been on YouTube for 5 years on my sports channel, but how many years out of those 5 did I give YouTube 365 days? Or even 300 days of uploads? So it's like, ultimately, who can I blame in my demise? Can I blame the white man? No. Can I blame my daddy? No. Can I blame God? No. You wanna know why? Because at the end of the day, every day that I'm here on this earth is an opportunity to move forward in whatever it is I choose to do. So if I'm saying I want this, you're not emulating that with your actions. You're saying you won't, but you're not showing me that. And that was the same thing with my relationship. You're showing me, you're telling me this. You're agreeing with me when I'm talking about this, family, kids, marriage, all that stuff. But your actions don't dictate what you say. Because if you say you want something that's actual, real, the foundation of it, it can't be penetrated by outside people. Your mama, your sister, your uncle, your auntie, your brother, your daddy, your mother. When we're in a relationship, it's me and you. Everybody else outside of this ain't got shit to do with what goes on here. And that is what builds up a solid relationship. But when you get influenced by this person, and this person, and this person, and this person, and this person, then guess what? You got 6 or 7 people telling you all different things. And look at the people that's telling you this. Are they credible people? Are they people that you willing to make adjustments in your life based on what the fuck they telling you? Look at their life and ask them, do you have your shit together? If not, don't come trying to tell me a motherfucking thing. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'm finna speak today. I'm finna be like the preacher today. Yeah, I'm finna be like the preacher today. Yeah, I'm trying to touch somebody. Because I want y'all to understand the emotion that it frustrates a person that wants these things out of life. Wants these things to be give so that he can receive what he wants in terms of pouring into people, in terms of pouring into a woman, in terms of all of that. And for a person to lead you on, and then as soon as we get right here, pull back. And now you're back to square one, and now you're back left to pick up the pieces. You see what I'm saying? So that those things are things that could break a person if they're not strong enough. I'm a strong man mentally, right? So this was presented in front of me. So I look at it like this, right? I'm gonna show y'all something. So this tattoo right here is Philippians 4:13. That means I can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens me, right? This tattoo right here is 2 Corinthians 5:7. What does this say? For we walk by faith, not by sight, right? So I got these tatted on my skin. This will never come off. Unless I get a laser removed, I'm not getting laser removed, but this will never come off, right? So guess what? These are scriptures from the Bible, right? So it's a difference from knowing the scriptures and getting them tattooed on you and actually walking in the spirit of them. So I got this tattoo from my grandma. When I was thinking about going to the military and we was preparing for boot camp and stuff, she was telling me, she's like, I want you to get Philippians 4:13 tattooed. You know, get that tattoo. I can do all things to Jesus Christ who strengthens me, right? So I didn't get it for that reason, but I did end up getting it later on down the line. So my breakup, I was, like I said, I felt that I was in a place to where I was not going to get over this hump. I was miserable, man. I was crying, every other day, man, crying myself to sleep, man, just hurting inside, hurting, and not really having a lot of people to speak to. You know what I mean? So I talked to a guy that I work with up there on my job, and he's a religious guy. And, we just had a brief conversation, and, I was just asking him, just different questions because, I was curious. And, it just hit me that I wanted this tattoo because, like I say, for we walk by faith, not by sight. So if you're walking by sight in terms of me, I would say me, right? I'm in a situation right now. I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm not where I want to be career. I'm not where I want to be even spiritually. I'm not where I want to be in terms of a relationship, in terms of having a family or having all that. A lot of these things, I don't see, it's hard for me to see past what's here in front of me. But I have to have the faith that it is something on the other side of this struggle. So I gotta stick with it. I can't quit my job just because I have a bad day. I don't like the way my boss talking to me, or I don't like the way this customer talks to me. I can't quit because I gotta go through this. These are all character building things that I have to endure to get to that next side. So I gotta go through this no matter how uncomfortable and how painful it is. You see what I'm saying? So when you walk by faith, faith is believing that this situation you're in is only a transitional period. It's only transitional. I have to come out on the other side of this, strong or broken. I have to. It's either this situation is gonna break me, or this situation is gonna mold me, and I'm gonna step over this situation, and I'm gonna walk into the next wall and get prepared for the next obstacle. But this obstacle right here prepares me for everyone. So when I go through here, it prepares me for this. When I go through here, it prepares me for this. So it's levels to this. So I gotta go through these things in order to get what I want out of life. So when you have these scriptures on you and when you have the knowledge of it, right? God is saying, okay, he can recite that scripture from, front to back probably 100 times straight without messing it up, right? He got it tattooed on him. Every time he look in the mirror, he see it. Every time he taking a shower, he see it, or, whatever the case may be, he's seeing it. But my thing is this. I want to see, do he actually believe it? He can say it. He got it tattooed on him. But does he really believe it? Okay. It's time to see. It's time to see if he really living what he taught, what he preached. So I'm gonna put this situation in your life, see how he responds to that. First situation that he put in my life, breakup, I almost break me. So he said, okay, how can you preach this, but this is your actions? Now I'm not saying that you can't be knocked down, but God damn it, you got to get up at some point. You got to get up. It's okay for your back to hit that canvas and your eyes be looking directly up. It's okay for that. And sometimes there's some things you can't control. But one thing you can control is how to fight back. I might can't beat this person, but I can control what I can control in terms of how I react to what is being done to me. Right? So you're saying this and you're saying that. You're telling that to this person. You're telling that to that person. It sounds pretty. And everybody looking at you like, oh man, this guy right here is a different breed. But your actions still do not resemble what you're speaking. So guess what? You're going to be tried. Our cards are going to be pulled in life. And we're going to see if you walk, if you really bout what you saying you bout. We're going to see that. We're going to see. I'm going to test you. And I'm going to test you hard. I'm going to hit you in places. I'm going to hit you in places that you never knew that pain could exist in to that degree. And for me, was this relationship thing. Because this was my first adult relationship. So when it didn't work and I had that envision with this person, it hurt. It hurt. Everything that I wanted was gone. My family I wanted was gone. The possibility of kids I wanted was gone. The possibility of having somebody that you come home to when you're going through bullshit in this world, when you're going through bullshit at work, when you got friends that's backstabbing, backbiting you, your family ain't, you and your family not on the same page. You already feel like a black sheep with your family, and you got this person that as soon as you come home and see that smile or she wrap her arms around you, you forget all about that temporarily, and you just soak in the moment of having that. Just having that waking up to that good morning, handsome, or good night, handsome, just waking up to those type of things, man, like it was a different feeling and I enjoyed it. And to have it ripped away abruptly, man, that was a pain that I didn't know that I could feel. Because for so long I made myself cold to the point where I felt absolutely no emotions for anybody, for any woman, or didn't even give up the opportunity didn't even give a woman enough of my heart to even potentially fall for her. And for me to go into this situation completely, different, and for it to go the way it went, it hurt, man. It really did. So the thing is, I can't just soak solely on that. You know what I mean? I got to keep pushing. I got to keep going, and I got to keep fighting regardless of how hard it is. Like I was looking at DC Young Fly, and that's an interview where he was talking about his ex, his baby mama, Miss Jackie O. R.I.P. to her. She died during complications from a BBL surgery. And I'm looking at this man who has 3 kids with this lady. So she passes on. So it's just him and his 3 kids. So as much pain as this man is in, he got to keep going. Because at this point, it's not just about him. He got 3 little girls that's dependent on him. So regardless of how I feel, I got to temporarily put that on the side. I got to make sure I'm still doing shows. I got to make sure I'm still putting content out. I got to make sure that I'm still working and grinding because these 3 little girls are dependent on me. These 3 little girls didn't ask to be brought into this world. We brought them into this world. I brought them into this world. So I am held responsible for these 3 little girls, raising them up into women. And what they do as women, it's out of my control. All we can do is raise a child up in the way that we want them to be, and just hope that they can stick to the morals and principles that we taught them as kids. I don't have any kids. I'm just speaking in terms of I was him, speaking through him in a sense. So, the temporary hurt, okay, yeah, when I'm by myself, yeah, I'm gonna cry. When I'm in that room at night by myself with them doors closed and nobody looking at me, no cameras on me, yeah, I'm crying crocodile tears. I'm hurting. I'm asking God, please take this pain away. God, please help me get through this pain. But I have to keep going because I have somebody else that's dependent on me. You know what I mean? I've mentioned her again in another one of in a previous video, but I'm gonna bring her back up in this video. My grandmother. Shout out to my grandmother. Maybe 2 years ago, she had a stroke, and we didn't know if she was gonna live or die. My mom texted me called me 10 o'clock at night, and my mom don't normally call me at 10 o'clock, so I knew something was bad just from that call. And she was telling me that they were trying to bring her back to life. So I went to work the next day. I prayed to God that He brings her through the situation, which she did. But she's still, if anybody know anything about strokes, depending on the level of it, she's still trying to recover from, being temporarily paralyzed on one half of her body. She hasn't fully healed from that. And now she has something else that she just had to recently go through, where she has to have surgery. And she had plans like take the family to go to Six Flags, just to, have take the kids, just get out of town, just have a good moment, time with the family. And unfortunately, she couldn't go, or we had to cancel everything because she had to stay for surgery. But it's like I see the fight in this woman, man. This woman fights so hard. This woman never fails to amaze me. She never fails to amaze me. A person that, no matter what's going on in her life, she still puts others first. Putting others first is what got her in the situation she's in now. But to see her going through that now, what she's going through, recovering from having a stroke, now having to go through surgery, and who knows what's possible pain to come, and almost looking death in the eyes. This woman had lost everything for the most. She lost her sisters. She lost her brother. She only have one brother left. But I've watched this woman raise up not only her kids, but her kids' kids. I've watched this woman do this for years. I've watched this woman put everybody else in her life needs over her own needs. And I've watched her do that time and time again. And so I look at my situation and I say, okay, cool. I'm hurting temporarily. I'm not fully healed from it. But at the end of the day, if she can keep going, I can keep going. If this man can keep going, knowing he has 3 little girls in this world that's dependent on him and he don't have his wife, I can keep going. Even when I talk to customers at my job, they tell me some of the things that happened to them. Their husband died, and as a matter of fact, I know a person I work with. Her husband died, and she's still going. I know another lady I work with. I consider her a personal friend of mine. She had a tragic situation, and she's still going. So when I think myself into those moments, into those places mentally where I start to feel sorry for myself, I start wanting to ask God, why do I have to go through the loneliness? Why do I have to go through so much trial and tribulation? I look at those people and, I use them as motivational, pillars of motivation to keep going no matter how hard it gets. And a lot of times, man, I do want to quit. I do just want to give up. I do want to not be motivational. I want to be a person with no substance. I want to be a person with no feelings, but I just don't think that that's what I was put on this earth to be, and that's what God wants me to be. So I gotta fight it every day. Wanting to be a piece of crap guy, wanting to cheat on a woman, wanting to lie to a woman, tell her everything, and just to give her nothing of what I've promised her. A part of me wants to really be that. A part of me wants to not give a damn about nobody else but myself. But ultimately, what kind of life is that? To live a life not ever caring for anything other than yourself. My grandmother, once again, this woman has lived for herself and everybody else, and is still going. So that can be words of encouragement, for anybody who's going through something. Yeah, things will get better, man, I promise you. If you apply, if you work on yourself, spiritually, mentally, man, do yoga, talk to people, go get you a therapist, or get you a camera, turn the camera and use this as your therapy. I can't get no answers back from this in terms of a personal questions, but it's almost okay. It's almost one of the things to where when you get to talking about what other people are going through and you compare that to what you're going through, you say to yourself, okay, am I really that bad off? But I did enjoy this video with you guys, man. For whoever this video touches, man, just know that you ain't the only person out there, and just know that, I may be going through worse than what you're going through. You may be going worse than what I'm going through. And there might be somebody going through worse than what both of us are going through. You know what I mean? But to a certain degree, you can take what you can take from it and apply it to your life and start to make changes, man. So I just ask anybody, man, anybody, male or female, and to disclaimer, this is not no attack on women, regardless of what I said about my ex. And I don't think I shitted on her. I just was saying mentally weak, but it's no attack on women. You know what I mean? This is just speaking from that. So if you're a woman watching this, you can relate to this too. It don't have to just be, you don't have to watch this and feel like this is an attack on all women, but anybody who's going through a relationship breakup, anybody who's going through mourning the loss from their partner or from a loved one, it will get better, man. You just got to keep going regardless, man. If you got to cry them tears, cry them tears. I'm an advocate for shedding tears now. It took me 27 years to live and to go through a breakup before I realized that it was pain, it was strength in tears, so just keep going, man, and we'll come out on the other side, so appreciate y'all time, man. I'll see y'all in the next video.